All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever really stopped to think about whether the world around you, the landscape, the animals, even the seasons, could actually shape the words you speak every day? Well, today we're going to take a trip to Finland to see exactly that. We're going to see how a deep, deep connection to nature literally wrote itself into the Finnish language, from simple everyday sayings all the way down to its core grammar.
So, our starting point is this really cool Finnish proverb. The forest answers in the same way you shout into it. Now, at first glance, you might think, okay, it's just about echoes, right? But here's the thing. In Finland, the forest is way, way more than just a bunch of trees. It's like a mirror for how people act. And understanding that is the key to unlocking the whole Finnish mindset. So to really get that proverb, we've got to start with the forest itself. We're going to see how the Finnish word for forest, which is metsä, isn't just a place. Nope, it's a whole mindset, woven right into how people talk about success, failure, you name it. Okay, so what does that proverb actually mean? The forest answers. It's honestly such a brilliant way of looking at the world. It's basically saying that whatever you put out there, you get back. It's like the world is the forest. If you shout something friendly and open into it, you're going to hear friendliness echo back at you. But if you're cold and distant, well, that's the kind of echo you're going to get. So the forest, it's not just a place, it's a direct reflection of you.
And this idea goes even further, especially when things go wrong. See, in Finland, the forest can also be the unknown, the place where your plans just fall apart. So picture this. You're trying to bake an amazing cake. You've got it all planned out. And then you burn it. It's a disaster. A Finn would just shake their head and say, "Se meni metsään." It went into the woods. Get it? The plan was supposed to go to town, succeed. But instead, it got totally lost and failed out there in the woods. Okay, so we've talked about the forest. Now let's talk about the animals that live in it. Because it's not just the trees that shape the language. The characteristics of Finnish animals have become the words for really specific human feelings and actions. Okay, check out this incredible linguistic jump. On one hand, you've got Hirvi, the moose, this majestic, powerful, totally awe-inspiring creature, the king of the forest. But then, from that same root, you get the word hirveä, which means awful, terrible. It's almost like the feeling of seeing this huge, powerful animal up close was so overwhelming, so intense, that it became the word for anything that's just plain dreadful.
And it's not just the moose. Other predators have lent their names to these amazing idioms. For instance, if you do a bear's service, it means you tried to help someone, but you actually made things worse. Kind of like helping your friend learn Finnish by just speaking English with them all the time. Or if you're super annoyed, you could say you've been foxed. And my favorite, if you're absolutely starving, you don't just have hunger, you have wolf hunger. And hey, it's not just for big, scary predators. It works for the timid animals too. The hare, or Janis, is known for being jumpy and quick to flee, right? Well, that gives us the verb janista, which basically means to chicken out. And then there's this even funnier one for getting a sudden scare, mennä pupu puksun. That literally translates to, for the bunny to go into your pants. I mean, you can just feel that sudden jolt of fear, can't you?
All right, time for a quick pop quiz. Let's say you've been hiking all day, you're back at the cabin, and you are starving, just absolutely famished. So based on what we just covered, what kind of hunger are you feeling? You got it. You've got sydänhalka, a wolf hunger. Okay, so we've been on the forest floor. Now let's look up to the sky. Because way before anyone had a calendar on their phone, nature itself was the calendar in Finland. And the annual migration of birds, that was the ultimate timetable. Especially for counting down to the best season of all, summer. This old folk wisdom is basically a living countdown. Now, it's not like the birds are making summer happen, but their arrival is so predictable it's like clockwork. So, you spot the first skylark? Okay, about a month of waiting left. Then you see the chaffinch? Boom, 2 weeks to go. And then finally, when you see that first swallow, the paskunen, that's it. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Summer is here. So we've seen how the forest, the animals, the birds, they're all baked right into the vocabulary. But all of this stuff we've been talking about, it's all sitting on top of something much deeper. There's one single, fundamental grammar rule that ties all of it together, and it's the key to unlocking the authentic Finnish way of seeing the world. So what is it? What's this big secret? What's the one grammar rule that shapes how you talk about everything that exists in Finland? From the bears roaming the forest to the blueberries you're picking in a basket.
Okay, here it is. It's called the plural partitive. Now, I know, grammar terms sound scary, but don't worry, the idea behind it is actually super simple, and it's completely connected to nature. Here's the deal. Whenever you're just stating that things exist in the world, not a specific number, just that there are some of them out there, you have to use this special form.
Let me show you how it works. Just look at this. One bear is a karhu, but if you just want to say there are bears in the woods, you say karhuya. One tree is a pu, but a forest has puita. One moose is a hirvi. The forest has hirviya. You see that pattern? It's like this piece of grammar was literally invented just to talk about nature, where you're not counting everything one by one.
Okay, let's put this all together now. We've got the nature-inspired words, and now we have the grammatical key. So let's see how this one single rule lets you describe Finland like a true Finn.
It all comes down to answering one simple question. Mitä Suomessa on? What is in Finland? And the only real way to answer that question like a native is to use the plural partitive, because you're not giving an inventory, right? You're not counting every single tree, you're just describing what's there. You're acknowledging its existence.
So, what's in Finland? Well, in the forests, there are karhuja and hirviä, bears and moose. In the thousands of lakes, there are sorsia, ducks. When people go foraging, they pick mustikoita, blueberries. And pretty much everywhere you look, there are mantuja, pines. That ja sound at the end, it's everywhere. It's the sound of the Finnish landscape itself, speaking through the grammar.
And that right there is the big takeaway. This isn't just some boring grammar rule you cram for a test. It's an entire worldview, coded directly into the language. It's a way of seeing the world not as a list of things you can count, but as this huge, living, breathing place full of, well, just stuff, life.
And that kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. When you see how deeply nature is written into every corner of the Finnish language, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What secrets about your world, about your culture, are hiding in plain sight right there in the grammar that you use every single day without even thinking about it?